Hello, everyone. My name is Daisy. I'm a technical product manager from Ixia. And it's my pleasure today to be here and meet all your technical veterans. And I would like to introduce Ixia Data Center Network Validation Solution. And as I walk through the presentation, I will introduce the history of our innovation and the challenge on building a hyperscale data center and how Ixia can help to ensure you bring the better performance and the resiliency and the efficiency in your network, and also increase your return on investment. And first, Ixia bringing 20 years innovation and leadership. So we actually celebrated the 20 years birthday in May 2017. And we start with the test solution at when we start Ixia company. So we are the market leader for the test and measurement. And we actually bring a test solution from all the Ethernet technology and from the network infrastructure testing to application delivery and security, and also all the way to the wireless and also the cloud, data center and cloud. So in recent years, we expanded our solution into the visibility market. And we believe we have industry the broadest visibility solution as we gain ground as the number 2 in the visibility market. So with combined the test and the visibility solution, and we help the enterprise to expand the confidence in their network and applications as traditional network manufacturer equipment and also the service provider gain the same level of confidence from our test solution. So Ixia has over 6,000 customers. So we have pretty much top 15 NAMs, and we have 47 of top 15 SPs. And we also have 77 of 400 Fortune 100 companies. So some of you may be already heard now, Ixia is now part of the Keysight. So we are at Ixia Solution Group in Keysight Technology. So Keysight is originally known as HP, and the company was founded on the electronic measurement innovation, and then it spun out as a part of the Agilent technology. And then in 2014, Keysight became an independent company focused on the electronic design and the measurement solution. And in 2017, Keysight acquired Ixia. So, coupled with the Keysight technology, so you have actually, we bring over 75 years of the, the innovation in the technology. Now we have actually the best solution in the, the electronic measurement test, and then also bring the best of network test and visibility. So Ixia bring the best breed of the products across the network. So we are there end to end. So because your overall experience, is only as good as you're the weakest link. So we have the test solution from like a mobile endpoint, from the IoT device to network testing, data center, and the cloud. So we have a test solution span across all the platforms. So now let's take a closer look on Ixia flagship network infrastructure test product, IxNetwork. So how the IxNetwork solution to validate the data center end-to-end. So first of all, I think Karthik already covered briefly on the VXLAN technology and the EVPN. And I know in the previous network field day and the tech field day, there are also some coverage on the technology in depth, right? I want to just reinforce on the key advantage of the EVPN VXLAN technology. So first of all, this is a new innovative technology to build a scalable data center overlay. So the key advantage is VXLAN itself as the most adopted overlay solution and provide a large virtual network segment up to 16Ks. And it uses BGP for the control plane. So it's bringing control plane learning for the end host, MAC and IP to avoid flood and learn. And it also, bringing better control on the end host reachabilities. It's using integrated bridging and routing to deliver both, layer 2 and the layer 3 traffic over the same interfaces. And it also has enhanced over the traditional VPLS or the pseudo-wire to better deliver the, for the critical function in the data center. So a couple of examples here is, first of all, MAC mobility. So MAC mobility provide a great, function for workload, flexible workload placement, because for the data center, especially the virtual, services, it's very important that you'll be able to place everywhere in the data center and close to the customer. And also when the failure happens, you need to move without disrupt the service. So it's very important. And also multi-homed CE. So there are many procedures and to actually handle the multi-homing CE, and it can be all single active or all active multi-homing, and it has a lot of optimized function, to help the overall load balancing and failover to provide the robustness for the server access to all the fabrics. And it also optimized the bound traffic, which broadcast, and normal unicast or the multicast, the traffic delivery. It has optimized procedure for that. So the overall, EVPN is a new innovation and technology, and it's actually helping really building a large scale and data network overlay for the hyperscale data center. Now, so with the data center virtualization and the exploding on the application and also the cloud deployment, right? So people want to build a hyperscale data center which can meet their business demand. However, there are many challenges. When you design a data center, and you also need to ensure when it deploy, it meets your business need, right? You will say, okay, how many tenants and the service can I support? And you want to say, how fast can I respond to the dynamic workload increase? Because you typically have a peak usage time for a lot of services, right? How fast the response is also a challenge. And also, is my network resilient to the failure? So there can be, all the different situations happen. Is my network robust and resilient? And is my network resource being utilized optimally and effectively? You don't want, a lot of idles there. So you want to use all the resource being effectively. So how to overcome all these challenges and design the best data center which can suit your business demand. So you need to test under real data center network conditions. And Ixia is helping here. So we help top silicon vendors like the Manilogs, and then we help router switching vendors, and we also help emerging new innovative technology vendors like Cumulus to test their product. And we also help the carriers and the cloud providers at a solution level. So validated the design, the architecture design, and then the vendor selection, and also, to the pre-deployment test. I think in today, with all the disruptive, disruptive disaggregated network technology, and with all the vendor choice, right? So it's very important to test your data center network under the condition to ensure it meets your business demand. So now, with all these challenges, so I say Ixia can help. So how Ixia can help, right? So first of all, the technology is relatively new. So, there are many complex procedures I mentioned earlier, which can help to achieve all the advantage here. And Ixia provides a very comprehensive feature set, has covered pretty much all over the different procedures in the EVPN here. So we can emulating, the single, leaf switch or the spine switch to do the functional testing. But more importantly, we can emulating many leaf and spine, can emulating pretty much the spine and leaf fabric, and then we can test the DOT as a leaf or maybe DOT as a spine. We also emulating all the, like a server. It can be a virtual server, it can be a bare metal server. So we emulating all this, and we can duplicate that to multiple data center site or the pods, or even to multiple data center networks. So for this, you just need, depend on the scale you want to test, you need one or maybe multiple Ixia port to emulating the data center network. And then you can also emulating multiple data center network and the data center interconnect. So we actually help, we reduce the cost, because to build the real network to test, first of all, it's complex, right? And it also has a lot of costs. And we help you, make it easier to test under the real network condition, and then reduce the cost. So with all the, the emulation here, so we can bring pretty much massive number of VXLAN tunnels, and also all the hosts. Just give you an example, right? I have a 100 gig Ixia Novus 100 gig port, so QSFP28. We can do pretty much, let's say if you have 1,000 VNIs per VTAP, and then we can emulating pretty much 180, such VTAPs. And if you kind of multiply that, right, it's over 100K VXLAN tunnels. But typically, the more BGP session we have, is the more stress. So if you want emulating more BGP session, the the VXLAN, the VNI per BGP session will be reduced. But you combine that together, so we have overall basically 100K to above, with one single Ixia port. And then you can actually, just add more Ixia port when you want to scale, and then test the more, the data center conditions. And another key advantage here is we are generating line rate traffic over VXLAN tunnels. So being you test the data center, if you have a 100 gig link or 40 gig link, depend on your uplink, downlink, we can generate a line rate traffic. And we can validate the, basically the router switch, how they can, encapsulate and decapsulate the traffic over the VXLAN tunnel. What is the performance? So we can actually do the line rate traffic here. And pretty much over all the Ethernet speed technology, and also with line rate traffic, we can validate the bomb traffic replication, and also the effectiveness of your integrated routing and bridging. So again, validation is the key to ensure the successful design and the deployment. So I mentioned this specifically, on the EVPN VXLAN emulation, but as a test solution. So we have the, coverage, beyond the EVPN VXLAN. So just look at the overall data center. Oh, sorry. Just look at the overall data center network here, and from the overlay. So I mentioned the EVPN VXLAN here, right? But the EVPN itself also can run, support like Ampere's data plan, and also the PBB Ampere's and VXLAN. So we have the solution cover all this tests. And EVPN VXLAN is one architecture choice. And then there are some other data center architectures. One example like VMware NSX. So they, instead of use EVPN, they actually using a central management controller to provision all the VXLAN tunnel and the host information, and manage all the VXLAN tunnels. So the NSX actually using OVSDB to manage the VXLAN, and the VMware also had the Geneva is a kind of next gen overlay solution, and it's adopted in the IETF as a standard. And VMware, of course, is behind this strongly. So we have the solution cover, OVSDB and the VXLAN. Of course, you have the traditional overlay technology, right? People are talking about the GRE and the layer 2, layer 3 VPN Amperes. So we have the solution for all this. Now, in the underlay is also very important, for the data center, underlay network. So besides traditional like BGP, OSPF, ISIS, that's traditional routing protocol. And then we can test the underlay like IP Ampere's underlay. And of course, BGP is pretty much the choice of the protocol in the data center. So we have BGP convergence standard based on this RFC 7747 convergence benchmark test. And we can actually test the IP clouds ECMP fabric with all the capability like BGP and also all the traffic to see how effectively the spine leaf fabric ECMP works. And of course, there are some maybe technology choice use OpenFlow as the build the data center. Then we have the solution too. So the overall we have can the benchmark test also. So you have all this traditional RFC to benchmark the data plan performance. So we have the CAN test to the benchmark test. So all these solutions are running on the Ixia hardware and the virtual platform. Any question? So just to sum it up, IxNetwork is a network infrastructure test solution. So we ensure the stability, performance, and the scalabilities. So what I want to mention here is first of all, we have all the the hardware to test the different Ethernet speed migration. So traditional data center you're running like 4010, and now most of them 125, and now industry is very hot with 400 gig. So, I think in the near future, you will see data center fabric maybe move to like, I don't know, 250 or maybe 400, right? So we just releasing this month the official first industry first 400 gig test solution. So with 400 gig QSFP-DD and CFP8. And we test all the, qualify all the opticals, cables, and for interoperability and the functionalities. And then we pretty much stress the networking device and the systems. Now, from the architecture and technology side, we, with our infrastructure validation solution, we validated the architecture design. And we also qualify new technology innovation. This is the key because as a test equipment, we are always on the leading edge of the technologies. So, and we also test virtual infrastructure and SDN NFV migration. And another important thing is, scale, performance, and quality of service. Basically, we validate performance, elasticity, and scale. And we validated QoS under the highly challenged conditions. and then we can help people rapidly isolate the service violation. So that's kind of summarized on the IxNetwork test solution. And next, I will handle to the June for the demo. So we will demo the Manalog Spectrum switch running the Cumulus OS, and we will emulating all this network as I just mentioned. So before June go there, I just want to show you one more slide here. So I think Karthik mentioned the integrated routing and bridging, how the advantage there. We will show you in the demo, but I just want to mention quickly so so it's clear when you go through the demo. So typically for the intra VNI bridging, when the traffic extending, you have a layer 2 VNI, which encapsulated, encoded in the VXLAN header. And then for the inner Ethernet, it's really just the source and host MAC and the destination, and remote and host MAC as destination. So that's actually just simple bridging. Now, for the inter-VNI routing, so in the asymmetric mode, you will see still layer 2 VNI is in the VXLAN header as the encoding here. And then you will see the source is the source VTAP route, VTAPs, and the destination is the remote host MAC. So that's why, when on the ingress will do both layer 2 bridging and layer 3 routing. But when it gets to egress will just do the bridging. So you will see they directly look up the remote host MAC. Now, with the symmetric inter-VNI routing, in the VNI encoded in VXLAN is a layer 3 VNI because both ingress and egress will do layer 2 and layer 3 lookup. So when you see the inner Ethernet header here, the source and the destination MAC is actually the VTAPs, ingress VTAP MAC and the egress VTAP MAC. And they actually do the IP lookup. IP will be the end host IP. So just want to briefly kind of highlight that.